what I want to do today really is take everyone through how we integrate into SuccessFactors, and we can do fast and secure file management. So first of all, my name is Max Gerrard. I'm the Director of Solution Engineering here at SER Group, so responsible for anything technical within the platform and making sure our customers get the most value out of our solution. First of all, before we get into it, I just want to add a poll question for everyone to be able to go ahead and answer. So you'll see in your GoToWebinar panel that a poll question will appear with you being able to answer it. So the question I want to ask is, do you already have a document management system integrated with SAP SuccessFactors? So you should see a poll, which Etche will start up now, appear for you to go ahead and vote on that question. So a really key thing here is that we have a really strong partnership with SAP. So around 70% of all SER customers use DOCSIS together with SAP, and we were a long-standing certified partner, and SER ensures a deep integration of SAP and DOCSIS. We've got all these certified interfaces and add-ons, as well as our own namespace in SAP, and we really are fully integrated into SAP S/4HANA, Fiori, and many other interfaces, which you'll go ahead and see today. So being a German headquartered company, we just have a naturally very tight partnership with SAP. And what I want to talk about first of all are some of the pain points that you may be having with SAP SuccessFactors without an ECM tool. And so we'll go through some of these now. So if we start there on the top right, lack of unified searchable place for employee documents. So often people have SuccessFactors and they might have their documents separately in another platform, not very well integrated, no version control, and just very difficult for people to go and find the documents that they want. You might also have insufficient data retention capabilities. So with all of the GDPR requirements out now, meaning that you have to go and legally keep documents only for a certain amount of time before they're deleted, and there are obviously lots of different rules around whether those documents have come through the interview process or whether there might be pay slips for your current employees. So very insufficient retention policies that you might have for documents without an ECM platform. You might have multiple platforms used for document generation. So you might use some form of basic templating that you might have in Word, or you might have other platforms as well, third parties that you use to go and do this. But essentially you end up with many places where all of these documents are being generated from, and then you lose consistency in those documents across your organization, and people end up generating from the wrong versions, and yeah, there could be a lot of confusion. And that document generation, if we move here to the bottom left, might not be automated at all. So that might be a very manual process where you might be hand typing in a lot of people's details. Practically speaking, you might have SuccessFactors on the right, your document on the left, and you're just hand typing in details, which can be quite time consuming and painful. You might have insufficient document sharing mechanisms. So you might just be sharing, OneDrive links, for example, and the link works for one person and not another, or maybe the opposite. Maybe you end up oversharing and you share a link with somebody to a document which they shouldn't be able to go ahead and access. So, and that can obviously cause issues internally. And finally, you might have very limited e-signature options. So maybe you have an e-signature platform, but it's not integrated directly into SAP SuccessFactors for people to go and sign things, or maybe you don't have one at all. So you're gonna see how we solve some of these pains today. So now we want to talk about, well, if you have an intelligent content automation platform integrated with SuccessFactors, what are the benefits that you're going to be getting from that? So first of all, you're going to have a centralized self-service searchable document storage, meaning that I'm not having to go to many platforms to find the documents I want. They're all nicely centralized. And as you'll see later on, I can be within an individual employee within SuccessFactors, click a button, and I go and see all of the different documents associated with that person. We have automated data retention. So as documents are uploaded, we can detect exactly what is in these documents. So whether it might be a CV or whether it might be a pay slip or a sick note, whatever it might be, we can apply automatically data retention policies to each of these documents. And then SuccessFactors integration for quick document access. So as I said, everything is going to be nicely embedded within the SuccessFactors platform. So you'll actually be able to go and view documents in SuccessFactors without needing to go and leave to a third-party platform. We're going to see today automated document generation. So rather than having, as I mentioned earlier, what you might do today, manually type in details into documents, we can have these templates auto-generated, and just by clicking a few drop downs, we can go and edit those documents and the metadata inside them. You'll see how we've got a secure document sharing mechanism so that all of the access rights are governed by the Docsys platform automatically. And so you don't have to think about sharing links. Any user who has access to the Docsys platform will be able to search and go and find the documents they want. And finally, you're going to see integrated e-signature. So the example today we'll use is DocuSign, but it could be Adobe Sign, it could be Scribe. Docsys integrates to all of the best-in-breed signature applications. And what are the business outcomes? So, you know, the effort required, what are the business outcomes going to be for you integrating an intelligent content automation platform with SuccessFactors? Well, you're going to accelerate content searching. So because all of the documents are in a central location, you can just go to one place to go and search for the employee documents that you want, find them, and then do whatever actions it is you want to do with them, rather than having to think, well, where is the document? Is it in my local hard drive? Is it in a OneDrive somewhere? Is it in SharePoint? Whatever it might be, we can centralize and all those documents to really make it really quick for you to find what you want. You can self-service access to content. So rather than people having to email the HR team asking for documents, and maybe that person's away or they miss the email and that delays the person getting the document, the user can go ahead and request the document, and with a simple approval, it can be given access, that person can be given access to that document. Obviously, this is going to result in a massively improved employee experience. So rather than getting frustrated and wasting time trying to find the documents they want, by them all being centralized and integrated directly to SuccessFactors, employees are just going to be enjoying themselves more and having an easier time in terms of finding the information that they want. We can accelerate content processes. So, you know, at the moment you might be doing approvals back and forth over email, documents attached to the email, maybe the wrong version gets attached. That can be quite painful. We're going to see today how within Docsys, all of that process automation is centralized within the platform itself. You can reduce risk to content. So risk meaning maybe you're sharing documents with people that shouldn't be. Maybe there's a salary that you're sharing with, you know, a general employee who shouldn't be knowing that salary of that other person. So making sure that there's no risks that the content gets into the hands of the wrong people. And then finally, we're going to give you a single source of truth for your content. So a centralized place for all of your documents and all of your employee records. So let's go dive into it. Let's go see everything I've just talked about there in action within the platform. And everything you're going to see today is completely live. So we're not showing videos here. This is the live platform that you're going to go and see today. So first of all, we're going to go and log into SuccessFactors. So let's go log in here. And you can see here, pretty familiar view for the SuccessFactors view. And the first thing you'll see is if you scroll down a bit, directly integrated into SuccessFactors, you can go and access documents. So you might say here, look, I've logged in, I want to see my documents. So we can go click here. And what we'll go see now is that my list of documents is displayed in the window over here. So, you know, here on the right-hand side, here's my passport. Here's some documents around a pension scheme. So you can see here, very simply, I've just got a list here. We'll get into some more complexity later on. I can see a full list of all of my documents directly integrated into the SuccessFactors platform. So not having to leave SuccessFactors to go and find my documents, they're all just there displayed directly for me. Now you might also want to go and integrate into the notifications within SuccessFactors. So if we go click here on notifications, we can see here we've got one for third-party to-do items. So in this case, we're going to click on that and we're being asked here, oh, your passport has expired. Please upload the updated copy. So of course, this, when we click on this link now, this is going to take us into Docsys to go and update our version of the passport. So what we can see here is the current version of the passport that we have uploaded. And you can simply go here and go and say replace contents and go and add upload. So as a user, you might go and upload your new passport. So maybe we'll go and drag and drop this particular passport in over here. We can then go click here on check-in. So yeah, we've uploaded our new version, and we can put a comment on it, new version of British passport, and click check-in. And then the new version of our passport is uploaded into the Docsys platform. But the key thing there was I was directly taken from SuccessFactors to be able to go and update that particular document. So I'm not needing to manually go and find something. It's all really nicely linked together. So the integration between SuccessFactors and Docsys for updating documents is really straightforward and really simple. And I mentioned earlier self-service. So you might want to go and say, actually, as a user, as an employee within the business, go ahead and request a document. So if you click here on self-service now, we can go and see this panel will go ahead and appear, and we'll have some options to go and select. So you can see here, I might want to go and get the employee handbook, or maybe ask for a job description or a salary certificate, for example. So let's say, for example, we click there on salary certificate. We then go click save. So we've made our request, and we could have an approval step in there within a process. But what's actually going to happen now is an email is going to be sent to me as the employee with that particular document attached. So if we go to my Outlook now, we'll go and see, if we come to my inbox, we'll go and see in a few seconds that we'll go and receive an email with our salary certificate attached. So again, a user isn't needing to go and email people to go and ask, the HR team for different documents. They're all just being served to the person as they request them. We can see there the email there we've just received. In this case, we requested our salary certificate, so we can double click on that, and we can go and see there is the document that we asked for. So again, all nicely and really tightly integrated directly into SuccessFactors. So now let's go and have a think about, well, what happens if I'm a HR manager, for example, and I want to go and see documents for an employee within the business. So what you can go and do here, let's go search for an employee. I'll just go and search for my employee here called Max Gerrard. We can go click on that over here. And we won't get into this too much today, but Docsys fully supports concurrent employment. So you can see here, we've got 2 employments here. And if I say here, I'm going to say leave this as Director of IT, then when I go click here on Docsys, what we can go and see now is that I get 2 links. One is to just go and show a list of the documents for this person. So if I go click here on show documents now, we'll go and see in a moment a result list. Sorry, I just clicked on the wrong thing there. So if I click there on show documents now, we'll go and see a result list of the documents over here. So you can see here is my my list of documents. So just get a very simple list. But also, if we go and close down now, maybe the HR person wants to see the whole e-file, so the whole record of metadata around a particular person. So if we go click here on show in Docsys, what we can go and see now is this goes and gives me the e-file for this person. So I can see here, I have what we call e-folders for all of the documents for this individual. So I can go and drill down and say, okay, I want to have a look at their contract documents. And we can see here, this document here has a minimum of a 6-year retention applied to it. So again, I could group documents by their retention period if I wanted to, or I could group them by type, whatever it might be. But what you can also do is if you click here on details, you can then go and see all of the metadata associated with this individual. And a key thing here is that we can do a mapping between the SuccessFactors data and Docsys. So we can say, look, maybe SuccessFactors is going to be the source of truth for some of the things like, bank details and number of hours per week. But I can be in Docsys and I can still see all of that information contained here within the within the platform. So the key thing here, though, is that all of the documents in Docsys are stored in a flat file structure, and then all of the documents are tagged with different bits of metadata. So if I go and upload a document into the platform, let's just go and drag something in here. I'll just go select some HR document, and we'll go and drop this in. Okay, and I click save now. What will happen is you can see here it's detected that this document needs to have a 6-year retention. We could give it a title, maybe Max contract, for example. And we've gone and tagged it with all the different relevant metadata. So this is an additional contract, different dates and things. So if we click save now, that document now appears here within the platform, and we can go and filter and search for it. We'll show this a little bit later on in terms of full text searching. So now let's go back into SuccessFactors. I'm just trying to show you all the different types of integrations we have here, and we come back to our home screen. And again, maybe you are you're the HR manager within the organization, and you want to go and not just search within SuccessFactors like I just did to go and show documents, but maybe you want to go and search directly in Docsys for different employee records. So if we go click here now on HR employee records, just go click here on this now. And what you can see now is that we have a search criteria go and appear. Now, the key here, and one thing I'm going to say before I go any further actually, is if there are any questions that people are having as I go through stuff, please feel free to type those in your chat bar within GoToWebinar, and we'll either try and answer those through the chat, or I'll have those, I'll read those out later on, and we can go through them. So yeah, please do ask any questions you have within the chat. But you can see now we've clicked here on search, and we can go ahead and search for a person. So maybe I go and search for my person over here, Max, and we can see here, oh, it looks like there's a few Maxes within the organization, and maybe actually we should group it by area. So go group it by business area, and we can see here, we can go and nicely display that list there. We go, okay, yep, it's Max Gerrard that I'm looking for. We can then double click on that, and then we come to our e-file. So really easily within Docsys, we just go and search for the different e-files for the different users and the different documents that you want to go ahead and find. Now, the other thing to talk about, and we'll come on to this in a bit more detail in a moment as well, is the dashboards we have within the platform. So if we come back here, this is an example HR dashboard that we have, where we can see, we can go and upload new documents, create new employee e-files, search for employee documents. So let's say I wanted to search for an employee documents here. I don't have to add a filter in here, but we're now going to get a full list of all of the documents that are contained. And again, we could go and add some filters here. So maybe we want to go and search for the word Simon, and this is going to do a full text search. So I search for the word Simon, and what you'll notice is that we do full text highlighting within the document, so that if you're doing like a full text Google style search, not only do we search the metadata, but we search the contents of the document itself as well. So you can see there, we can go and highlight that over here. But just coming back to the dashboard, this is completely configurable. So you as a user might go, actually, if I'm in Docsys, I'm going to click on Manage Dashboard, and it's actually, I don't want my work basket here for my tasks, and we'll come on to that in a moment. Maybe I want to go and add here my favorites. So I can go and add in here favorites, click here on add. So you can see here, really nice and easy to use, and any user can go and configure their dashboard so they get quick one-click access to the documents they want when they are directly within Docsys. So let's come back now to SuccessFactors, and we'll go and do a few other actions within here. So one of the things which you'll be doing as part of integration SuccessFactors with Docsys might be to go and approve a hire, and then go and create a contract for it from a template. But not only that, but map a lot of the metadata from SuccessFactors into the contract document within Docsys. So what we're going to do now, I'm just for purpose of the demo, we're just going to proxy to a different user, and this is going to be to the HR manager, just a lady in the platform here called Tessa Walker. So we click here on OK, and what we're going to go and do is we're now going to search for view job requisitions. So just wait for that to load there. We can go to view job requisitions, so we can go and see the requisitions that we currently have open within SuccessFactors, and we'll go and find the one we want. So let's say the one we wanted here, if we just go and scroll down, maybe it was production director. It could be anything really, but let's go to say production director over here, and then we can go ahead and select the candidates. So we've got a list of 9 candidates within the platform over here, but maybe we've got one that we want to go and approve. So you can see here, we're going to do this lady here called Eva Corral. We can see here she's at the interview stage, but maybe we've interviewed her, she's gone through the interview process, and we want to go for hiring. And maybe then there's going to be perhaps 3 people that need to go and sign the contract document. Maybe there's 2 internal HR people, for example, and then there's the person that you're hiring. And what you're going to see now is that all of this process is really nicely managed within DocSys, and we trigger it automatically from SuccessFactors. So we select the employee over here. We'll go click here on Move Candidate. And let's say we go and move that candidate from interview 1 to offer. Click here on Apply. And when we click Apply now, what's going to happen is that we're using the SuccessFactors REST API, and it will go and trigger within DocSys the contract approval process with the data mapped from SuccessFactors. So if we come into DocSys now, I just click refresh there. You'll notice a moment ago I had 1 task, and now I've got 2. So here is the latest contract that we have here. And actually, just before I go and do that, I just want to quickly explain here. If we just go back a screen, you can see here we have tasks. So we've got, in this case, human resources tasks, and this is a group work basket, which you might have all of your HR team on. And so that's a group one. So if someone's away, there's always someone that can see the task in the queue and can do the action against it. And then you've got personal tasks, or we call them my tasks. So these are tasks specifically assigned to me personally as a user. And so we go and open that task up now. We're going to see a few things here. First of all, we can see here all of the metadata that has been mapped from SuccessFactors to DocSys. So the person's first name, last name, street, all of their job information, car allowance, probation period, all of that metadata has been automatically mapped into DocSys. You'll notice here on the right-hand side, we have the contract document. Okay, so we can see here with all of the clauses added based upon the metadata that we have within DocSys, within SuccessFactors. And one thing I want to show you now is that we actually have the process automation side of things built directly into the DocSys platform. So if we click here on tasks, what you're going to go and see is that here is the process that this particular document is going to go through for approval. So we've got a check document over here, so I can go and make my edits to it if I want to, and we'll edit in a moment. And once I send it to DocuSign, we then go through the DocuSign process, and DocuSign is going to send it to 3 different people for signature. And what DocSys will be doing is checking every 5 minutes or every minute. We can configure that differently for different customers. It's going to be checking, has the document been signed, and then uploading the signed version to DocSys, and then continuing to the end of the process. So let's say you've received your document and say, actually, I need to make a small edit to it. So we can come here, we can go and select the document, and we can just click here on edit. And what will happen now is this will check the document out from DocSys, and we can now go edit it in Word. You notice here the little red arrow, that document is there, has been checked out. But if we go into our Word now, we can see here's the document. And maybe we just need to go make an edit to it by adding, maybe there's an extra thing in the car allowance. Maybe there's an edit that needs to be made, maybe BMW car only for this contract. Whatever it is, doesn't really matter so much, but you can see here we can make an edit to the document, BMW car only. We can then go click here on save. That will then go and check the document in. And again, like I showed earlier with the passport upload, I can go ahead and make a comment on this. So I can go here and say added clause for BMW car. And then we can go and check this document in. So we can go click here on check in now. That goes and checks the document in. And we can go and see, if we just scroll down a little bit and we just zoom in, we can go and see that that particular edit has been made. So, and DocSys will manage all the different versions of the document. So if we go double click on the document now, every time an edit is made to it and checked in, we always keep the previous version. So if I now go to into the document over here and then click here on versions, there we go. We can see here are my 2 different versions of the document. And if I wanted to, I could roll back to the previous version. So I might go select this version here, click here on set as current, and then that will go and set the previous one as the current one, but we'll still keep the one that we just checked out. But what we might go and do now is go and send this to DocuSign. So maybe we've made our edits and we can go and click here on DocuSign now. Okay, and what we'll go and see now, it'll take a few seconds, but DocSys will now go and trigger the signature to be sent to the relevant people and the relevant emails. Now, for the purpose of the demo, they're all going to go to the same email, but clearly in reality, they would all go to different emails. So if we just come into my email now, what we can go and see, we've just received an email, as you can see there at the bottom right, to go ahead and review the documents. So you can see here, the person here reviewing it is a gentleman called Tim Sheffield. So he's received it first to go and sign, so he can go and review the document now. And the key thing here, just to kind of explain like how powerful this is that all of this process is being managed by DocSys. So I'm not having to manually go and trigger the DocuSign process. I'm not having to, manually create new versions of documents. All of this is being really tightly managed by the DocSys platform, really nicely integrated into SuccessFactors as well. Let's say this person wants to add their signature. We won't spend too long here. This is really just very standard DocuSign functionality. So we'll go click here on Adopt and Sign for Tim. Okay, and that will go and trigger the next person within the queue. So if we come back to my email now, we'll go and see the second person. We'll go and receive an email to go and sign the document. So here's the second person. And you can see here, all of these things are nicely named. So you can see here, this particular person that's going to sign is a lady called Sally Henry. So their signature gets added over here. We can go and click here on sign now. And then the final signature is for the candidate. And again, as I said, in reality, this will go to 3 separate emails, but just so it's keep it simple for the demo, they're all coming to the same email for now. So the final one's going to come in, and then once I've signed it finally, DocSys, and it's going to take a few minutes, but I can trigger it myself, it's going to detect if the document has been fully signed. And so we'll just go and add the final candidate signature to the contract over here. So that is myself over here, and then go click here on sign. Okay, so the document's now been signed within DocuSign. And so what we can go and do now is if we come back into DocSys, what we can go and see is there's an action here. As I said, you could wait a couple of minutes and this would happen automatically, but I can now just go and trigger the check. In this case, we just called it check status. So if I now go click here on check status, we'll then go and download the signed version of the document from DocuSign, and we'll go and get a task, a final task here to go and confirm that it's been signed. So we can click on that there. And then what we can see now is, of course, the signed document within DocSys. So if we just make this slightly bigger now, just so you can see, there's the signed document that we just went and did as part of our process. But not only that, as part of the process, we've also added in, just make this a bit bigger, the full log file, in this case from DocuSign. So all of that documentation is contained within DocSys. So you have a full audit trail here. You have the IP address of where that signature was taken. You get a full log of all of the actions that were taken as part of that particular signature process. So hopefully you can see there how we can trigger within SuccessFactors. We can go and trigger, as I showed earlier, moving a candidate through a process. That then goes and creates a simple signature process within DocSys, and all of that document management in terms of checking in and out and signing is all managed really tightly. But you're not having to go and jump around over different emails and things like that. Everything is nicely contained and integrated between SuccessFactors and DocSys. Now, one other thing I do want to show is around document generation. So you can see there we can map documents in and we can do some simple edits, but let's say there's something a bit more complex that you want to go ahead and do in terms of document generation. So what we can do here, we can go click here on template selection. So if we go click here on that now, and we can have all of our document templates stored within DocSys. And as a user, you can go and select those. So I'm just going to go and do a filter here and say filter on all the templates in English. So we can just go and do a search there. And then maybe we want to go and take an applicant contract. So let's say it's this one here, applicant contract. Click here on template selection. And what we have now is something really cool, is that we can now use drop downs here on the right hand side, and this can be configured for your specific metadata needs. But we've got drop downs here on the right hand side, and we can go and select different things. So I could select my probation period. I can go and select, whether I want a company car or not. And as I'm doing this, if we just scroll down, this is adding different clauses into the contract. Okay, so you can go and use the drop downs here on the right, to go and add different clauses. and then you're directly within the documents being prompted to go and do things. You might say here, well, maybe they're a senior person, and maybe their start date is the 9th of June 2024. Enter that. Place of work, maybe they're in the Vienna office, for example. Business department, maybe they're in development. And again, this is just an example template, but really, really easy for us to configure these templates for your use case, so that again, this is really just click and play for you to go and do what you want. And adding the notice period, maybe 30 days, for example. I'll just put 30 days here. So all of these things are prompted really nicely within the within the document. Maybe a salary, we'll put 50,000, for example. Oh, put 500,000. We're being very generous there. And then you can see here we can go and add in benefits granted by whatever it might be, open domain or something like that. Could be a company. Okay, so you can see there, really, really easy. Just spell that slightly correctly there. Really, really easy for you to go and add in different bits of metadata using drop downs for the clauses and the specific data here. And so what I can do now is I can save this document. Okay, so that document gets saved within Docsys over here. It's now been converted into a PDF document. And so if I now come back to my employee record and we click refresh, we can see there that document that I just had over here. And maybe you go, actually, I need to make another edit to it. Well, you can just click on here, go click here on Envaris Edit, check the document out, and then we can come back and we might say, actually, this person we've been told isn't allowed a car. And so that will go and remove the clause from the contract associated with having a car. So really, really nice document generation that we have built directly in the platform. So one of the final things I want to show, and I can see we've got some questions coming in, which is great, and we'll definitely get on to answering those. One of the final things I want to show is just around Doxy. So this is our intelligent content assistant. So before we do that, though, I know we have another question that we wanted to pose to the audience. So just before we do that, let's go and bring up that question on screen now. So we can see here our poll question number 2 is, are you interested in finding out how to automatically generate documents, whether those are contracts, amendments, certificates, based on SAP SuccessFactors data and processes? So you'll see a pop-up appear now. Please do go ahead and answer that question. As I said, the final thing I wanted to show, and this is something really cool that we've been working on, is our intelligent content assistant. So let's go and find a document over here. I'm going to find a CV. So you can see here, I've got a CV here from a gentleman called Simon Muller. And you'll notice when I open up this document, in the top right-hand side, there's our Docsys logo. But we can go click on that. And what we can start doing now is we can start talking with documents. So we're integrating here into some of the OpenAI algorithms. We're building a lot of stuff on top of those, but the baseline is that. And so we might want to ask some questions like, what is this document? Well, that's a pretty simple one. It's just going to come back with that it's a CV. But I might also go and ask this document, does the person have Java skills? So we can see here, this document is a job description. Okay, great. Does this person have Java skills? Okay, these CVs can be very long nowadays, so maybe, yep, they do. Yeah, they've got proficiency in it. Okay, great. So let's go and put them forward for interview. So you can talk with documents there. That's great. If we click here on Start Analysis, and then we can go click here on Create Application Process. So what this will do is we'll go and extract out the data from the document. So we can see here we've extracted out first name, last name, job position, expected salary, address, etc. We've pulled that out from the document itself. And we're being asked, do you want to create an application process with the following metadata? So we can go and click on that now, and that will then go and create an application process. We can trigger that in SuccessFactors to go ahead and kick that off and go through everything that we've just shown. But the key thing here is I just wanted to show you that you can now talk with documents and go and get the information that you want. That was the final thing I was going to show. There was a third poll question, which we wanted to just bring up now, which was finally here. We'll come on to some of the questions that have been asked. Is, does SAP SuccessFactors share documents with any other platform application in the organization? So do people in other areas of the business, go and access documents. So from SuccessFactors. So please go and answer that question as well. And finally, we're going to move on to the Q&A now. So let me just come in here, and we've got some questions come in. So one of these is, how is the document expiry captured? Through document parsing, or does this information need to be recorded on SuccessFactors? So the way that we do the document expiry, or the retention period, is on a few things. One is the document class, or the type. So we might know this is a contract, or it's a pay slip, or it's a passport. And as a document is uploaded, it's being classified either by the e-folder that you drag it into, and then we're going, well, based on the fact the person's dragging it in here, therefore it must be the title of that folder. So we have rules. We have rules based on that. But we can also do metadata extraction from the document as well. So maybe it's a contract is expiring on a certain date, and we could pull that information out and then go and set the retention based on that as well. Another question we've had here, is there a size limitation for each document? So the short answer is no. So we have customers who have documents that are literally hundreds of gigabytes. So a great example here, and again, in the HR SuccessFactors world, they're probably not going to have files that size, but that was for that example size of document is for a DNA sequence that the Natural History Museum, a customer of ours here in the UK, store. So yeah, in terms of size, really, there isn't really a limit we've come across, but we have customers that have documents that are hundreds of gigabytes big. Another question we've had come in, can multiple users collaborate on a single document, for example, a policy document? Will there be an audit trail available? Well, the answer to both of those is yes. So on the audit trail side, I could go and quickly show this now, actually. We can go and see on every document, so if we go and double click this one, for example, is a full audit trail of every action that has been taken against the document. So we have what we call a history on the document, and if we go to, let's go to another one, we can go and see a full audit trail. So yeah, I'll send a screenshot afterwards. Actually, I'll just come back to my slide over here. Another question that came in. Is the tool capable to translate documents into different languages? Yes. So we can actually we use algorithms that will completely translate a document. So it might be English or French or German or whatever it might be. And ultimately within DocSys, there will be a single instance of that document. But as it's open, depending on the language that's selected, it will go and open that document in a certain language. And that's quite key. So rather than having 10 separate documents, which are really the same document, but just in different languages, we store it as a single document with a metadata field defining which language we want that document to go and be displayed in. One other question we had was, do you support other use cases, outside of just HR and integrating SuccessFactors? And yeah, the answer is yes. So I'll just go and click through a few of these now. So the DocSys platform is used for many use cases. So you can see here in the human resource dashboard, but we also have things where we can go and store contracts and things like that. And then we can go to here, for example, for invoicing. So we can go and search for an invoice in here, lots of metadata that we can go and filter on, and we could go and open up an invoice document over here. And so you can automatically upload invoices, for example, extract the data, and then we can automate the three-way check on invoices of the goods receipt, purchase order, and the invoice, as you can see over here. But really, the use cases with DocSys around documents are really unlimited, in the sense that you might have your own document processes that you want to be able to go and automate with the platform, and we can build those. We've obviously got many out-of-the-box ones for things like HR and invoicing and contracts and general document control and employee training, but you might have your own internal bespoke processes, and the platform can be used to go and build those as well. So I think that was all the questions that that we've had. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I have a few more questions here on my chat.
Oh, okay,
One
cool.
is saying, I'd like to understand how easy it is to upload multiple, for example, historical documents if these are currently stored on SharePoint.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we've done literally thousands of migrations from platforms, things like SharePoint and many other platforms out there. So it's something we're very very experienced in. One of the things that we'll do on any migration is to do work with you to do some data cleansing. Usually when you're migrating from one platform to another, it's a great time to go and do some cleansing of documents and actually think, do we need these ones? And just so you can start with a really nice, clean, tidy platform. And then, yeah, we'll manage you all the way through that process. And as those documents are being uploaded, the platform can auto classify those. So you're not manually doing that, because obviously that would take a huge amount of time. And then we can go and set all of the relevant retention periods once those documents are migrated from SharePoint.
Thank you, Max. One other question I have is, what is the value proposition business case for Doxys? What is it that Doxys can do but SuccessFactors cannot? Is it ease of use or cheaper cloud storage compared to SuccessFactors, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, both of those plus others. So first of all, I think you probably saw in the demo that you can directly access documents within SuccessFactors, something that's a bit of a struggle if you don't have something like Doxys integrated into it. So that's number one. Two is, yeah, storage. I mean, our storage costs are, I don't know the exact percentage, but a large percentage less than something like storing directly in SuccessFactors. The other one is just managing the actual document lifecycle process. So because of we can, as you saw earlier, we can check documents in and out, we creep all the versions, you can see all of the audit trails, we can automate triggering things like signature, we can auto generate templates of documents and do full template management. These are just things that SuccessFactors does not do. So yeah, I think in a few words, that's probably what I'd say.
Thank you. Let's finish up with one final question. Our time's almost up. What is the implementation timeline?
Yeah, good question. So obviously, we'd obviously need to sit down with you. I think it kind of brings me on to my next slide. If you're interested in knowing more, please get in touch. We'd love to go and speak to you guys on the call one-on-one and understand, your specific requirements. But for a SuccessFactors project purely integrated into Doxys, depending on the the number of employees and what document types, that might take 3 or 4 months to go and get implemented from very start to finish in terms of scoping requirements and stuff. So yeah, but I think what the best thing is to do is we'd love to speak to everyone who's joined us today. So you can see here you got my email, but you can go and reach out directly, and we can set up a meeting to go and dig into more detail on your requirements, and then do as part of any project that we do, we would do an estimation and a statement of work on the effort required.